you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Well, good morning, and thanks for tuning in to your Wednesday edition of Good Morning Fort Sill.
Well, did you have a good Veterans Day?
I did, yeah. I went to a couple ceremonies yesterday. Went out to the Comanche County Veterans Council at Elmer Thomas Park, and then I went to the Cameron University ceremony. It was a couple hours later, so it was good.
We'll recap those ceremonies in just a minute, but first let's check in with Ulysses, who's got our PT forecast this morning.
Hey guys, yes, the weather was great for Veterans Day yesterday. We warmed up into the 70s. This morning, though, our morning PT forecast at Fort Sill, 37 degrees right now. So another chilly start. Calm winds, 5 degrees warmer, though, from this time yesterday. Sunrise at 7:05. We'll see those temperatures hover right around that 40-degree mark over the next couple of hours before we start warming things up eventually into the 50s by 9 a.m. But yesterday, though, we actually topped out at 78 degrees after starting off at 30, almost a good 50-degree difference. From the low and the high temperature. You can see 40 degrees is the average low, 66 is the average high. So we were a good 12 degrees above and 10 degrees below when it comes to those numbers. Overall, though, mostly clear skies right now in our Comanche Nation Entertainment Tower Cam at Medicine Park Aquarium. And as we look at your day planner throughout today, we're going to have lighter winds across the region. Temperatures making their way into the mid-70s. We might be just a touch cooler today, and the reason for that is that we actually had the winds change direction throughout tonight. And as we make our way throughout the daytime hours, we'll still have a little bit of that northerly flow, but we'll talk about some potential near records coming up the next couple days. We'll break that down in just a bit.
So, Kyle, there could be some light at the end of the tunnel here. The federal government shutdown, the longest in history, could be over within a matter of a couple days.
Good news for a lot of folks. House lawmakers are poised to consider a stopgap funding bill that the Senate has already greenlit. And Amy Kiley reports on what the end of the shutdown would mean for SNAP benefits and air travel.
If the government reopens, how long will it take for things to get back to normal? Many are asking that question now that the shutdown appears close to ending. Today, the House is set to vote on a stopgap funding bill that's already through the Senate. The president is signaling he'd sign it. If that happens, officials say SNAP benefits could resume promptly.
It appears that we're on a glide path up in Washington where the SNAP benefits will be fully honored, hopefully by the end of this week.
That's likely a relief for the more than 40 million Americans who rely on SNAP for food.
I'm trying to do my best to shield my daughter from how concerned I am, but at the same time, she is seeing the difference in our cupboards. She's seeing the difference in her meals.
The timeline for air travel returning to normal is less certain. The FAA is still forcing flight cancellations due to air traffic controller shortages. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says they'd get 70% of their back pay within 48 hours of the government reopening. But
I'm concerned that we're not going to have on day one controllers come back into the towers right away.
Duffy says he'll rely on data to decide when the FAA can lift shutdown-related flight restrictions.
We're trying to manage risk in the system to make sure people fly and fly safely.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, Kyle, like we were talking about, Veterans Day yesterday, I went to a few of the ceremonies, but still do a little recap here. So the lot of Fort Sill community did honor those who have worn our uniform with numerous events yesterday.
That's right. One of the celebrations took place at Lawton City Hall. City leaders, including Mayor Stan Booker, were in attendance as they took the time to recognize our nation's heroes. The city employs several former service members, including the Community Enrichment Department head Larry Parks, making this annual ceremony a memorable event.
It's actually a coming together, a celebration, and a way to say thank you for the sacrifice and the commitment the many veterans across this country and throughout the world have given to sacrifice for the freedoms we have dearly here at home.
Now, the Comanche County Veterans Council held their annual ceremony at Elmer Thomas Park. The Lawton Fort Sill Buffalo Soldiers chapter presented the colors, and guest speaker Dr. Daniel Joyce, who's a former surgeon in the Army, spoke about service and sacrifice.
Cameron University also held a special ceremony to honor both veterans and active duty service members. It started with a free meal from 10:30 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, followed by a ceremony at CU's Veterans Grove. Cadets from Cameron's Army ROTC program posted the colors. The guest speaker was Ron Albert, the commander of VFW Post 5263 and chair of the Comanche County Veterans Council.
Cameron University loves our military and our veteran community. It's a special part of our campus, and so we very much want to honor our veterans and to serve them and to let them know what a treasure they are to us.
Well, and Sunset Memorial Gardens in Lawton also took part in honoring our nation's veterans. Wreaths were laid in recognition of the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans. The communities all across Texoma love their veterans, and it absolutely shows.
This is Southwest Oklahoma and Lawton, Fort Sill. It's just an incredible veteran population. In fact, I think we're one of the top 5 veteran communities here in the United States. So you have a wide variety of veterans, and we have veterans from the Korean War all the way to the recent Afghanistan conflicts, and that veteran population is growing. And we're just honored to show our gratitude.
Well, covering Fort Sill, USO Entertainment is bringing comedian Chris Gethard to Fort Sill's historic Patriot Club on Friday. Now, whether you're a diehard fan or someone who just enjoys to laugh, this is the show for you. The 1-hour show starts at 7 o'clock. It's free and open to adults 18 and older. For more information, you can visit the USO Oklahoma Facebook page.
Definitely think I would check that out if I was going to be here on Friday night, but I will not be able to go. But if you're having some post-World Series blues, you can consider hitting the diamond later this week for the 2025 Fort Sill Co-ed softball tournament.
The tournament will take place Saturday at the sports complex just inside Sheridan Gate. Cost is $350 per team. It's open to civilians, dependents, retirees, and DoD civilians. You can call the number on your screen for details and registration information.
And paintball fans are invited to Lake Elmer Thomas Recreation Area later this month for a 6-on-6 paintball tournament. The event is scheduled for Saturday, November 22nd at noon. It is open to the public. Cost is $200 per team to enter. There will also be cash prizes for top shots. More information, you can go to the Fort Sill MWR's Facebook page.
Well, you're looking to get a little Grinchy this year. Well, Altus Air Force Base's Force Support Squadron is calling all Who's to take part in a rendition of Dr. Seuss's classic story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Now, Kyle, are you going to try out for this one? I don't know.
I think I could be a good Grinch.
I don't know. It could be good, though. It could be fun, though. If you're interested, you can stop by Freedom and Community Center next Thursday at 6 p.m. All ages are welcome.
And Altus Air Force Base is also getting in on the holiday season with their Gobble Trot 5K run later this month. It'll take place next Friday, November 21st, beginning at 7 a.m. outside the base gym.
Now, organizers are asking participants to bring reflective gear so they can be seen by cars while running. Probably a smart idea. For more information, you can visit the Altus FSS's Facebook page. Well, a federal judge has greenlit the West Virginia National Guard to remain in Washington, D.C. We'll have more news from around the forces coming up on Good Morning Fort Sill.
When the workday is wrapping up and you're ready to start your evening, get your news first. The first look at what's happening in your community.
First responders in Jefferson County worked to extinguish a semi-truck fire.
Your first look at weather approaching Texoma.
We're just going to see dry conditions, mostly sunny skies.
And your first glimpse of impacts for your day ahead.
A new scholarship program is coming to Oklahoma State.
You can even watch on the 7 News app from wherever you are.
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m. every evening.
A man charged in a deadly hit and run from 2023 has been sentenced.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we head into next week.
7 News, working for you every night at 10.
Changes happen. With 7 News First Alert, you'll be ready.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Welcome back, everyone. Very light winds right now. You can kind of see that here with the windsock here at our Jackson County Memorial Hospital Tower Cam in Altus. But and also, last night during the evening hours, we did have the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, make its way all the way into parts of the south. So it was a really good view of it last night with the mostly clear skies, and actually made its way as far south into parts of Florida. So yeah, 37 degrees though here in Lawton right now, 46 in Altus, 46 in Duncan, 42 in Frederick, 47 in Wichita Falls, 51 in Jacksonville, 50 in Graham. And you kind of just see the general warming trend we have been over the last couple of days. We have just a little weak front that's pushing through, and that's going to really just change our wind direction from a southerly wind that we had yesterday to a northerly wind that we're starting off for your Wednesday. But really, we're not expecting any really real changes here. The ridge continues to build over the western half of the country, and even in the east, that dip in the jet stream is starting to retreat more towards the north. So a warming trend will begin to kick in off for some of our southeastern states. Now, for us here, though, that ridge will continue to evolve even more so as we go throughout the weekend. We do start introducing some fronts as we go throughout the weekend, and now the rain chances continue to fizzle out as a lot of the activity is now being pushed off further off towards the northwest away from us. Our chances of rain are now getting a lot more slimmer, only about a 10% chance. For today, 75 degrees, mostly sunny and mild. As we make our way down into tonight, we'll drop down to 44 degrees, mostly clear. We'll talk a little bit more about that 7-day forecast in just a bit.
Taking a look at news around the forces, in the wake of a 2018 report conducted by the Government Accountability Office that found the military ammunition wasn't being properly safeguarded, every military service took action to increase inspections and security measures except for the Marine Corps.
Now in 2025, the Corps is implementing mandatory physical security protocols with stern accountability requirements and designated corrective actions for deficiencies. In GAO's 2018 report, the Marine Corps fared reasonably well. In site surveys, GAO found that between 1 in 7 security deficiencies for Marine Corps Armory locations compared with 1 to 24 for the Army and 1 to 16 for the Navy. Well, U.S. Army Northern Command has formed an anti-drone team to counter threats to military installations across the country following many successful field exercises.
Now, the 11th Soldier Unit is comprised of troops from NORTHCOM as well as the 21st Space Base Delta that uses NORTHCOM's Counter-Small UAS Flyaway Kit. The tech forms an all-around web of sensors and effectors to detect, target, and disable intrusive small drones. With overlapping layers of technology, the system forms a shield to detect and track drones from all directions. I'm interviewing a counter-UAS company, like a tech CEO, tomorrow. We'll have that later on this week. Definitely been in the news a lot recently.
Yeah, we've run a few stories on it, seems like.
Drones just proliferate, and it'll only get more, too, as technology increases. Well, the U.S. Coast Guard says that they've recruited the most new active-duty enlisted members since 1991.
So the service has brought in over 5,200 active-duty enlisted personnel in 2025, far exceeding their goal of 4,300. Coast Guard met its recruitment goals for the second consecutive year after the service brought in more than 4,400 new active duty enlisted service members a year ago.
Now, to continue its hot streak to bringing in new service members, the Coast Guard opened 7 new recruiting offices in fiscal year 2025.
And Coast Guard leaders say they're also looking for a new training center location to help reach their goal of adding up to 15,000 more personnel. The service issued a request for information to communities that would be interested in submitting plans for the new center.
Now, the Coast Guard said the minimum requirements for the new training center would include up to 250 acres of land, lodging, dining, and medical facilities, classrooms, and office space.
Well, a federal judge has allowed the continued deployment of more than 300 West Virginia National Guard troops to patrol the streets of Washington, D.C.
Now, President Trump deployed the forces earlier this year to help combat crime in our nation's capital.
West Virginia is among several states that sent National Guard members to the nation's capital.
While the State National Guard has said its deployment could last until the end of November, it is consulting with the governor's office and others on the possibility of extending the stay.
Formal orders were issued last week extending the deployment of the District of Columbia's National Guard in the city through the end of February. Veterans who have continued to serve their country as federal employees now find themselves navigating being furloughed. How the upcoming House vote is giving them a ray of hope.
When the workday is wrapping up and you're ready to start your evening, get your news first. The first look at what's happening in your community.
First responders in Jefferson County worked to extinguish a semi-truck fire.
Your first look at weather approaching Texoma.
We're just going to see dry conditions, mostly sunny skies.
And your first glimpse of impacts for your day ahead.
A new scholarship program is coming to Oklahoma State.
You can even watch on the 7 News app from wherever you are.
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m. every evening.
A man charged in a deadly hit and run from 2023 has been sentenced.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we head into next week.
7 News, working for you every night at 10.
Changes happen. With 7 News First Alert, you'll be ready.
Well, one common concern for veterans is finding a new line of work after leaving the military.
Ivan Rodriguez reports on the challenges veterans can face when looking for a job and why employers may want to consider investing in them.
For the last few years, veteran unemployment rates have remained low.
It's a testament to the work that we're doing in corporate America and the services that are provided out here to ensure that when people leave the armed forces, they're plugged into great opportunities.
Bruce Mosler with Cushman & Wakefield says veterans have a skill set that could translate into many workplaces.
It's collaboration skills, it's leadership skills, and at the end of the day, it's people that work well under pressure. These are all skill sets that are remarkably unique when you compare that to just the young kids coming out of college.
As of August 2025, there are 256,000 unemployed veterans. Compared to last year, the unemployment rate is slightly down to 3.1%, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Still, there are subgroups of veterans who struggle more than others when it comes to finding a job. The unemployment rate for veterans with a disability is around 5.7%.
We still have a responsibility as organizations to make sure that once they're in a place to come re-enter the workforce, that we are doing our due diligence to bring them back.
Mosler says this year alone, Cushman & Wakefield expanded its veteran workforce by 600 and hopes more companies follow suit.
Today is a day to say thank you, but thank you is not enough. Today's a day to remember that those who serve have unique skill sets and they deserve and have earned the opportunity for their next career move.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Now, veterans serving in the federal workforce have found navigating the government shutdown to be a little bit difficult.
Well, with the funding bill now making its way to the House, thousands of displaced employees nationwide could head back to work very soon. For most, it's a relief.
I know that, people are affected adversely by this decision. And I know that there's a lot of different opinions on what's happening, but for me personally, I'm just ready to get back to work. I think it's just inherent in me to want to serve. And again, I'm proud to serve the public in this capacity as much as I was in the military.
Well, the world's largest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, has entered the U.S. Southern Command Area of Responsibility.
The deployment, officially framed as a mission against narcotics trafficking and transnational crime, comes as tensions escalate between the U.S. and Venezuela. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is rushing to reinforce his country's anti-air capabilities as strikes continue in international waters against suspected drug boats. Well, new footage appears to show Russian troops approaching the eastern Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk.
Now, Russian forces are said to be on the brink of seizing this strategic urban area, a symbolic victory for the Kremlin, whose campaign has continued to incur heavy costs to their military forces. Ukraine's army estimates that there are more than 300 Russian troops in Pokrovsk.
Well, during Native American Heritage Month and Veterans Day, the Choctaw Nation remembered the legacy of the code talkers who used their native language to help Allied forces during World War I.
The strategy threw off master code breakers because they had never heard the language before. Robert Baker, vice president of the Choctaw Code Talkers Association, said that the association has lobbied Congress for a medal to honor the code talkers.
I want to educate, the children about the code talkers, because my feeling is like if they don't know about it in a generation or two, it'll be forgotten. And, honoring the code talkers and teaching the children our Choctaw language is at the core of that. And so I teach, some of the code that was used back then to the kids.
Recently, a sculpture honoring the first code talkers was placed in front of the Choctaw Cultural Center near Durant. Well, family members of a World War II veteran are recounting their loved ones' days as part of a highly classified unit known as the Ghost Army.
The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops Unit used deception to fool Axis forces. Their tanks, guns, and even planes were all fake and made of inflatable rubber. Members were handpicked based on high IQ and artistic talent, crucial to pulling off the deception.
Now, during their time in service, they made German forces believe there were tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of soldiers in one area, oftentimes leading to the Nazis to retreat, when in reality, the Ghost Army was no more than 1,100 men.
I'm not even sure if Grandpa truly understood how big it was. I would love to know if he did, but I doubt it since he was top secret for 50+ years.
The Ghost Army was kept classified until 1996. Now their mission and accomplishments are no longer a secret, and their exploits are part of a traveling museum exhibit.
Alert forecast with meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.
Good morning, and right now we are waking up to mostly clear skies here in our Duncan Regional Hospital Tower cam in Duncan. Looking at your temperatures currently, though, most areas are into the 40s with the exception of Lawton at 37 and 50 in Waurika. Also 51 in Jacksboro, 50 in Graham, 46 at the Falls, 46 in Altus, 39 in Chickasha, 45 in Elk City. But for the most part, we're dealing with just a little weak front. That's really just changing wind directions, really not really making a real impact. We might see our temperatures maybe just a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but really for the most part, we're keeping tranquil conditions here. As we make our way into the weekend, well, we're tracking a disturbance that was coming out of the Pacific, but a lot of the models are now trending a lot of this activity pushing off more into the Rockies and pushing off eventually into the northern plains. And for us, really just a stray chance of a shower possible as we make our way into your Sunday night and even going into your Monday. We'll see temperatures gradually fall a bit as we make our way into the weekend and into early next week, but still we're going to keep things above average. Looking at your Fort Sill forecast for your morning PT, it's going to be right around 40 degrees, warming things up to 50 by 9 a.m. Today we'll make our way up to 75 degrees, a mild day with lighter winds out of the north and eventually out of the east at 5 to 10. By tonight, we'll actually drop down to 44 degrees under mostly clear skies. And as we progress here over the next 7 days, we're going to be really flirting with those records on Friday and Saturday. The record high on Friday is 83. The record high on Saturday is 85. So yeah, definitely we can't shake the 80s just yet.
And you were mentioning 84 might be kind of a low number for that Saturday temperature.
Oh, we know it's fall, right? I mean, geez.
I mean, I know it's November, but it's it's summer-like weather still trying to hang on.
I know.
Well, thanks for watching. Good morning, Fort Sill.